بارکراون ڕێبەرانی پێشووی هەیدەپە سەڵغادین دەمیرتاش و یۆگەن ڤێکسەداغن کە ئێستاکە لە زینداندان. خۆپێشاندانەکان بۆ پشتیوانی لە کۆبانی بوو دژ بە شکستی حکوومەت لە ڕێگاگرتن لە دەوڵەتی ئیسلامی لەو کاتەی پەرلەماری کۆبانیاندا. مەتهاز سەنجار هاوسەرۆکی هەیدەپە لە ڕۆژی دوشەممە لە دەرەوەی دادگا وتی دادگاییکردنەکە بەهۆی سیاسی و تۆڵەکردنەوەیە لە دژی هەیدەپە بەرامبەر بەو زیانەی بە حکوومەتی ئاکەپە گەیاند.
سەرۆکێ جڤەتا ئەوروپی دەبێژە حتاکۆ دەستهڵاتە زۆردار یا سەرۆکێ ترکیە ڕەجەب تایب ئەردۆغان بەردەوام بە دێ کورکردنا پەیوەندیên یەکێتیە ئەوروپی لەگەل ترکیە زۆر و زەحمەت بن. زانیاریên بهتر divê raportê de.
Serokê Civata Ewropa di Parlemanê Yekêtiya Ewropa da duşemê 26 Nîsanê got, kûrkirina peywendiyan li gel Tirkiya dêya bi zehmet bîtin çendî ku desalatdariya Serokkomarê Tirkiye Recep Tayyip Erdogan berdewam bike.
ما نەڕەحەتین خۆیên کور derbarê serweriya qanûnê mafên bîngehîn xwebekêjana ji peymana Stenbolê her wiha azadiya raderbirînê û armancgirtina partiyên siyasî anîn ziman.
Charles Michael serokê Konseya Yekêtiya Ewropa di axiftina Perlemanî da behsa serdana Anqerê ya 6 Nîsanê kir û got.
Heke hevkariya nerînî wiha berdewam biket, geleka bi zehmetek û mirov bişêt hevkariyeka berfireh bi Tirkiye re hebîtin.
Di dema peyva plandananê da li hember endamên Perlemanê Ewropa, ew vegeriya sernûçeya di dema seredana Anqerê û protokola çewt ya ku du kursî bû sê kesên bejdar di civînê da hat bûndanan. Kursiya Seroka Komisyona Yekêtiya Ewropa Ursula von der Leyen nehat bû danîn. Vîdyoya ku zêde belav bûya demê civînê da, Michael û Erdogan ser kursiyan rûniştî bûn. Ursula şpiyan ve mabû paşî ser qenefekê rûnişt. Michael derbarê wê protokolê got.
Min gelek caran bi aşkirayî paşmaniya xwe ya derbarê rewşa heyî aniye ziman.
Ji aliyê xwe ve von der Leyen di axiftina Perlemanê da balkişande ser bûyera protokolê û zelalî ji bo wê ew pirseke regez parêzî bû.
ما داوچیوید اگر کو بدلک و کلافاتک برمه دابان گلک جو دم بوری دا راستی سر بورن و سابوینه به تایبت اندامین جنین و جواته از پش راستم کوین باش دزانن کاسته که چا بو من چه بو من هز به ایشان و بتنه بو نگر
Serdana berpirsên Yekêtiya Ewropa di 6 Nîsanê da bû Anqerê di medyayê da gelek deng veda bû. Axiftinên her du berpirsan jî di civata Parlamentoya Yekêtiya Ewropa da derencamên zehmetiyên diyaloga bi Tirkiye ra radêxin berçavan.
ئێسال باران لە هەرێما کوردستانە عێراقê bi giştî û bi taybetî li navçeya germiyan gelekî kêm bû û têra çandiniya navçeyê nekir. û di demekê da ku desthilatdaran sala 2021 wekû saleke hişk li navçeyê ragihand, rêvebirê bendava derbendîxan ji dengê Amerîka re dibêje ku ew nikarin wek salên berê avê berdin ji ber ku kêmbûna asta avê و هر حال جوتکاران جی خمین خواهد و درباره دا دربرین. پمنیره ما لسلیمانی رونی ده سرویه کی.
ئەرسەلان بەناو خاکێکی وشکدا دەڕوات کە چاوەڕێ بوو ئەم ساڵ بەرهەمی کشت و کاڵی لێەوە بەدەست بهێنێت. ئەو جوتیارێکی دانیشتوی شاری کەلارە و یەکێکە لەو سەدان جوتیاری کە زەرمەندن لە وشکە ساڵی ئەم ساڵ و بەهۆی کەمی بارانەوە ڕەنج بە خەسار بوون.
جوتیار زەرری کرد. ئەم خاوەن ئاژەڵی زەرری کرد لەبەرەوە باران نەباری و خەڵێش هیچ نەبوو. جوتیارش زەرمەندێکی زۆر بۆ لێرانە لەبەرەوە مەکینەعیشی بۆ کردووە، تۆوی کڕیوە، کیمیایی کڕیوە، دەرمانی کڕیوە. لێرانەشە جوتیار این زەرع هیچ هاوکارێکی جوتیار ناکە.
پێشتر لایەنە پەیوەندیدارەکانی گەرمیان لە کۆنگرەیەکی ڕۆژنامەوانیدا بە فەرمی وشکە ساڵیان ڕاگەیاند بەهۆی کەمی ڕێژەی بارانەوە کە کەمتر لە نیوەی ڕێژەی ساڵی ڕابردوو بووە.
بەپێی هەردوو راپۆرتی بەرەبەرایەتی کشتی کشتتوکاڵی گەرمیان و راپۆرتی مامۆستایەکی زانکۆ کە ئەم ساڵ وشکە ساڵی ڕوبەڕووی گەرمیان دەبێتەوە. بۆیە بەپێ ئەو داتانێش هەمانە تا ئێستاکێ لە کەلار نزیکەی 170 میلیم باران باریوە و لە کفریش 114 میلیم و نیو باران باریوە بەراورد لەگەڵ پارساڵ کە ڕێژەکە زۆر کەمە و پارساڵ تام کات 363 میلیۆن بووە.
هەموو ئەوانەی بەکاری کشتتوکاڵیەوە خەریکن لەم ناوچەیەدا بەڕادەیەکی زۆر پشت بە ئاوی بەنداوی دەربەندیخان دەبەستن، بەڵام بەنداوەکەش لەم ساڵدا بەهۆی کەمی ڕێژەی باران و گرتنەوەی چەند ڕووبارێک لەلایەن ئێرانەوە دەمەتر کەمتر لە ساڵی ڕابردوو ئاوی گل داوەتەوە.
ئێمە ئێستا ملیار و 200 میلیۆن متر سێجا ئاو لە بەنداوی دەربەندیخانە هەیە لە کاتێکا ساڵی پار ئەمڕۆ نزیکەی 10 متر ئاستی ئاو بەرزتر بوو و هەروەها نزیکەی 550 میلیۆن متر سێجا ئاوی زیاتر تیا بوو لە ئێستا. یعنی واتە ئێمە ئێستا بۆ شایەتی خەزنیمان هەیە نزیکەی بە حدودی 18-19 متر ئاستی ئاو کەمترە لە ساڵی پار، یعنی بۆ پڕبوون نەک لە ساڵی پار، ینی بۆ پڕبوون، ینی بۆ شایەتی گەورەمان هەیە کە بەتاڵە و ئاوی تیانی.
لە ئێستادا پلان وایە ئاوی بەنداوی دەربەندیخان بربدرێتەوە بۆ جوتیاران، بەڵام جوتیاران پێویستە زیادەڕۆیی لە بەکارهێنانی ئەودا نەکەن و ڕێگە بەو کشتتوکاڵانە نەدرێت کە بڕێکی زۆر لە ئاوی پێویستە. ڕێباز مەجید، دەنگی ئەمریکا، کەلار.
بەێ ساڵێن هەشکە هەرێم بە تەواهی ڕاستیە دەبێ بڕاستیە بوو دەمەکە چەند ساڵن کۆ وها لە دوو هەv ساڵێن هەشک لێ گەلک هەرێمان تێ و بەحسا هەرێما کوردستانە عێراقێ دکن کۆ تەنێ ئەلتەرناتیڤ ژێرە ئەوە کۆ پرۆژەیەن حکومی کاربن ئەلتەرناتیڤان ژvەیەکێرە پەیداکن و کاربن دوام بریا وان پرۆژەیان وێ هشکبوونێ هەنێکی کێم بکەن ji ser cotkaran da cotkar karibin werzên xwe yên çandiniyê bi awakî durist qezencê jê wergirin. Li vir Kurd Connectiona îro bi dawî tê ta cara bê hevkarê min Canî Dîlan û ez Salih Demîcer xatirê xwe dixwazin û bimînin di nav xêr û xweşiyê de.
Hi, this is Larry London. Welcome to Border Crossings, and in Los Angeles right now, sitting in the sunshine by the pool. What a life. AJ Mitchell joins us here on the Voice of America. AJ, great to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Now, your full name would be Aaron, right? Aaron, and your dad's name is also Aaron. You're a junior, he's a senior.
Yep, just like that.
And you just decided one day I'm going to go with the initials?
Yeah. Well, kind of my parents put that together, and I was like, oh, well, yeah, I just went with it. All my friends call me AJ. Mom will call me by my full name, Aaron Frederick Mitchell Jr. You know, that's how it goes.
And your dad is a nurse, from what I read. So how is the COVID virus impacting you and your family? You know, I know it's horrible for your career because you can't go out and meet the fans, and this is a business of meeting the fans. But how about at home, since your dad is, you know, a frontline caregiver?
Yeah. In the beginning, it was definitely hard. Like, I couldn't see my parents because my dad was in the hospital. So I couldn't see my dad or my mom for a while, which kind of sucked. But, you know, everyone had to go through it for a little bit. And then after a while, my dad, you know, he was like, you know, I've been taken care of. Like, it's okay. And then I could finally see him again. So it was cool.
Yeah, to be 19 and have things, you know, just starting to get cooking for you the last couple of years, and now to have the brakes be put on, that's got to be tough.
It was pretty tough, especially because I just got off the tour. And I was finally home, and I was just about to go on another tour. And then, COVID hit. So the it was going to be my headlining tour. So everything that we had scratched up, like we had this bus I was going to go on. We had all these things lined up, and basically we scratched all of it because COVID hit. So that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and fans don't realize that you are working many, many hours to rehearse choreography along with the songs and the the music arrangements and whatever. I mean, a lot of work goes into getting ready to go on the road. It's not just go out there and do your thing.
Yeah, it's not like they just send me on the road and like, all right, we'll figure it out.
Drop you off in your Jeep and say, go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, all right, see you later.
So you're 19, and so that makes you still in your teen years. Did you graduate high school? Did you finish high school before you started this, or did this kind of all of a sudden pop up and throw you a loop?
So everything, it kind of popped up when I was a freshman in high school. And so towards the end of high school or freshman year is when I started going back and forth to LA. So then sophomore year, I stopped going to public school, and I officially moved to LA, and I was doing an online school. But then after a while, it was getting a little bit ridiculous, the schooling that I was doing. It was just kind of like, I wasn't really learning anything. It was like, I was like learning about turtles and phytoplankton. I'm like, what? This is just weird. Like, it felt like I was wasting my time. So I took the GED, and I passed, finished high school. And since that day, I've just been working every day.
That's right. Yeah. You wrote a song which went on to have, I don't know, 100 million streams, I guess, a small number, used to be the name of the first track. You wrote it when you were 13. So obviously you've been planning for this and writing music for a long time.
Yeah, pretty much my whole life. Yeah, I wrote my first song when I was 6. About like 2 birds falling out of a tree. It's pretty bad. But, you got to start somewhere. And then I just loved it. I loved writing songs. I loved playing the piano. So I was just doing it every day. And I wrote Used to Be when I was 13. And that was a song that I was like, oh, this one's actually good. And I remember putting it out online, and all my friends were like, yo, this is sick. And then I started to gain followers from it, just from that song. And yeah, it kind of just took off.
Do you remember where you were the first time you heard your music on the radio? I mean, that's a huge, profound moment in a musician's life.
Oh, absolutely. And it was in Florida. I was doing a radio tour, and I was in the car, and my radio girl, she had it all lined up. She knew it was gonna happen. She was recording me. She turned on the radio station, and it was like, and this next song is AJ Mitchell. And I remember just sitting there like, wait, what? And then the funny thing is when they played my song, they sped it up too, and I was like, wait, this is weird. I heard a sped up version of my song the first time I heard it, but I was like, I don't even care because my song's on the radio. That's awesome.
That's it. You hope they didn't speed it up every time they played it.
Yeah, right. I was like, wait, interesting.
AJ Mitchell's with us, and he's talking to us from Los Angeles. So you made the big move from a small town in just outside of Chicago. I went to school in Northwestern for a summer, so I know that area very well, in Evanston. But you grew up in Belleville, which is a small area. So what was the this has been a big transition from Belleville to Los Angeles and the fame that you found.
Yeah, it was a huge transition because, like you said, I'm from a really small town. So there was nothing to do. It was like abandoned buildings were the fun thing to explore. And the only other cool thing was this place called Skyview. which is a drive-in movie theater, which also happens to be the title of my album coming out soon. So the only fun thing to do in Belleville. So yeah, going from Belleville to LA was a huge difference. From even just like the people to like the amount of buildings and people and cars, and it was a whole nother transition. But obviously I love it here.
And you grew up listening to Motown and you know, R&B old school.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're an old soul. I mean, you must have, obviously the parents' influence. Is that where that came from?
Yeah, my parents were a great influence in that kind of music, and also my music teacher. He was like this 70-year-old man, and I would come in as like a 9 and 10-year-old kid, and we would just jam out. He was like my best friend. He was one of my best friends, and we would write songs together. He would like show me all these old songs from like Stevie Wonder to like the Beatles, Michael Jackson, and just like Aretha Franklin, and just so much music like that he brought to me. So yeah, it came from like my music teacher and my parents, like a good combination, and also some friends like showed me a lot of music as well.
Have you met any of the legends that you grew up listening to yet?
I didn't get to meet them, but I saw Stevie Wonder perform once, and that was just like, you know, when he does his little head bob.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's Stevie.
Stevie.
There he is.
And so what's the best advice you've been given then so far? If you haven't, you know, had a chance to talk to these legends, what's the best advice and who gave it to you?
You know, I actually haven't really had a chance to talk to many. Actually, one person I got to talk to Shawn Mendes once, and he gave me good advice. It was mainly just surround yourself with people that you want to learn from, and that really stuck with me because I was already in a predicament where I was kind of already doing that, and I subconsciously, and just looking around at the people I was with, I was like, man, I learned a lot from you. I learned a lot from you, like my manager, my team that I'm surrounded by, my label, and just being surrounded by, you know, so many people with so much wisdom. Like I learned so much, and that was really good advice from Shawn that I really took upon, and it makes me realize that every day. It's like if I'm not surrounded by people I'm learning from, then you know, maybe I shouldn't have them around.
We've got AJ Mitchell on with us today, and we're talking to a young man who has already surpassed 1 billion streams, which is, I mean, it's just a number that I can't even put my hands around.
Same. I really can't either. I really can't. Sometimes it even be like, oh, wait, is that even real? Is that true? Is that true? It's crazy.
And then the check comes, and then, yeah, hey, it's real.
Hey, it is real.
It is real. Look at that. So what is, I mean, Skyview's the big, the album, and the story behind the album are songs that were inspired by your journey from small town to big town, and some very personal experiences, and they're all real. I read that these are all true stories that you experienced.
Yeah, these are all real stories. I like to be very honest with my music and the things that I talk about and write, because I don't want anyone to get a wrong painting of what they think I am. So I like to be very honest with my lyrics, very, very who I am, just because, yeah, I want people to understand me. You know, I have songs that talk about like growing pains, and I have songs that talk about, you know, missing your parents, and like in a way where it's like, you know, one day they're not going to be there. They're not going to be here. And, you know, thinking about that makes me sad. And I'm like, well, I can't miss them yet. They're not even here. They're still here. They're still with me. So I have songs like that, songs like, you know, Cameras On that I just released.
That's the new track, right? The new single?
Yeah, that's the new track that I just released, the album. And, you know, I've a lot of songs, a lot of eclectic songs that are like motivational, positive. I don't have very many love songs, which is kind of funny. I mean, you could take a song and you could make it a love song, but the things that I'm talking about are more like life lessons and motivational and positive things, stuff like that.
So growing up with two sisters as the only guy in the house, how has that impacted you and your perspective on writing love songs and you know, just your whole outlook on things? Growing up in a house with two girls are probably, you know, fighting about sharing clothes and all this stuff that two sisters typically do, you know?
Yeah, not only was it 2 girls, it was 3 girls because I had my mom.
Oh, that's right. That's
and And my dad was at work all the time, so it was literally just women in the house all the time. And you know what? I'm very, very, very grateful for that. Very grateful. You know, I feel like I you know, just being around girls, I just, you know, I became very, very familiar, I think, with girls. And I had a lot of like friends that were girls too growing up. I think just because of that, which was funny. But yeah, I mean, they're crazy. They're crazy.
So I did want to ask you, as far as, you know, you and your music, how do you describe yourself as a musician? I mean, you grew up with the R&B sound influence, but you just worked on the new album with Kanye's producer. So how would you describe yourself?
So I would say it's kind of like a Justin Timberlake and a Timberland collab, I would say. All the songs that are on the album are songs that I originally wrote beforehand, and then I brought it into Mike Dean. So it's kind of cool because the songs were very pop and very like, very pop at the beginning. And then Mike Dean came in, and you know his style. He works, you know, with Kanye and everything. So he brought in his hip hop kind of swag, pop on the drums. He brought these beautiful synths in. And it was just a cool mixture of like with my writing and then his production just coming into one. It was just like this beautiful, beautiful collaboration. You know.
And who are Team 10? What's Team 10?
Yeah. So Team 10 is actually the reason why I wrote Cameras On. So Team 10 is basically it's a house of kids with a lot of followers. Basically, we've seen this with Hype House, we've seen this with other places, and Team 10 was one of the first